Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too, and let's crack on with today's first story. Much love guys. Now today's first story comes from NYC Cheesecake and says, am I the arsehole here for allowing my husband's mistress to meal prep for him and the kids? My husband has been cheating on me for years with different women. Due to this, I've completely shut off from him. We don't have a sexual relationship, but we do an amazing job at being parents. Our kids love us, and that's all that matters in the grand scheme of things. I'm not dating anyone. This isn't an open relationship. Every time he cheats, he acts more remorseful, but I've come to terms that I can't save him. He's seeing this woman, Cherry, and she's a cook and a baker. We were in a little tussle once, but that's in the past. I've moved on. I don't like her, but I don't hate her. A few weeks back, I caught him eating in his car and realized it was from her. The packaging gave him away. She's been sending him goodie bags and now full meals. I told him going forward, I'm no longer cooking for him, and he needs to let her do everything, including meals for the kids. I really put my foot down and did some petty things that I'm not proud of, but it worked. I told him if she loves him, she will do it, but I'm done. Well, I don't know what he did to convince her, but at least 3 times a week, they get meals from Cherry. He brings a container and plates the food. The kids are happy because they think they're getting takeout. I don't partake. On the other days, I cook for just the kids and myself. My husband, on the other hand, got mad and said I manipulated him into taking advantage of Cherry and kept asking me, what do I get out of these mind games? I told my best friend about the whole ordeal, and she's upset with me, saying that what if Cherry spikes the kids' meals? I don't think she would do it. Am I the arsehole for letting this happen? Oof, what is this situation? All I can think about is why? Why are you still in this dynamic? What's the aim here? What's the goal? I mean, because all I can think about is what the kids are actually seeing. I think you need to close this down and be out of this for your sake and for the kids' sake. You're saying, you're doing an amazing job being parents, but the kids are living in a house where mum is completely emotionally checked out from dad, and there's this weird meal thing going on, and they're unknowingly eating food that was made by dad's mistress while thinking it's takeout. It's what? And if you think the kids are not picking up on any of this, I think you're wrong. I imagine that they're absorbing all this around them, because like I always say, kids are like sponges. They're going to see the way that you're acting towards them, that you're acting towards each other. They're going to see the passive aggressiveness, which it will be happening. That mum's not eating the same meals as they are. That dad doesn't eat when mum's cooking. I was just left after this thinking, why don't do this? But someone asked, why aren't you getting a divorce already? Opie says, I'm not giving up my house and leaving with half. I hope I get under his skin and he gives up everything. Someone said if a throuple would be a possibility. Opie says, we live in a small town. She tries to get on with everybody. No thanks. She's a professional mistress. She'll move on from him soon. Somebody says to take the money she saves on groceries for a divorce. Opie says groceries higher than a motherfucker. I have 0 issues. Until she jumps on her next target, I'm good. Somebody comments to get a job so she isn't reliant on her husband. Opie says, I provide. Read that again. A cheater doesn't provide for me. I'm there for my kids and my assets. The internet makes everything look so easy. It's not. You think someone that gets repeatedly cheated on never thought about divorce? It's not in the cards now. Someone else pointed out OP fighting with people in the comments and then pointing out that it's toxic for the children what's going on. And OP said, girl, they are young. Do you think this will be happening forever? You keep harping on this one point. I'm blocking you. And OP also says, these comments are boosting me to leave, but it's not black and white. We have built a good amount together. Financially, it's a stupid idea. 10 months later, OP comes in with an update, and I'm seeing this first line already. I'm like, oh my word. It says, I cheated on my husband and he caught us. I was sick and tired of feeling unloved and unwanted. I was sick of being a doormat and taking him back every single fucking time. I don't know how I feel right now, but I know it's not regret or shame. It's something else. I invited a guy I've been talking to over at the house. I knew my husband was coming home at 5 and still went through with it. Keeping personal things personal, he saw everything, and I mean everything, and heard as well. I have to face the reality of my situation. I'm not shocked he's hurt. That was my intention, but the hypocrisy is astonishing. He's been crying the entire night. I've cried for years. Somehow I am the scum, not him. After he's been playing house with this woman and having dinner by her house. It's 12 AM right now, and all I can say is that I'm lucky my husband and the guy didn't thrash it out. It was incredibly awkward. My mind is racing. I feel a bit scared, empowered, and uncertain. I haven't been steady in ages. Commenter says by OP says, I don't feel icky. He's trying to guilt trip me. And it says guilty of what? He's been doing this for years, and it's not the same. OP adds another 10 months later and says, it's been 10 months or so since I last posted, and a lot has changed. I'm here to tell you that I'm getting a divorce and starting the moving on process. After posting on Reddit, I received a lot of backlash and DMs that were a bit overboard. However, there were some that made me see life in a different perspective, and I realized that being petty doesn't serve me nor my kids. A month after my original post, I stopped the kids from eating Cherry's meals. It was childish to drag my kids into that mess. I'm just grateful that they are small enough and don't understand what's happening with their parents. I let her cook for him and take care of his laundry. There is no way I'm slaving over a man who hates me. My job is to take care of my kids, not a grown adult who cannot respect his wife. I'm no longer cook, therapist, financial planner, assistant, and maid. Just mother of his children and soon-to-be ex-wife. Well, to rip the band-aid off, I cheated back and it didn't go as planned. The petty spirit in me did it in the worst way possible. I invited a gentleman over and I knew my husband would be coming in, and he saw and heard everything. He caught me in the act, to keep it real with you all. I'm lucky to say it could have went way worse than it did, but I don't feel guilty, just indifferent. I can say he isn't taking it well, and before bed he bawled his eyes out and vented for what felt like a millennium. I am the scum. I am the traitor. It's funny, not in a hysterical way, but I've been crying for years, and he's only cried once. It almost felt as if he forgot he was the cheater who caused all of this. I don't know how to explain, but I don't regret cheating back. It made me feel empowered. I felt satisfaction watching him break down because that used to be me. The morning afterwards, he woke up begging to reconcile. But this taught me I needed to divorce. He's being extra nice, but nice isn't good enough. It's the bare minimum. I had to pause when writing because he called to check up on me at work. He never does this. Not to mention lunch drop-offs and little gifts. I'm not buying it. I know this isn't the update some would want, but the bright side is I'm holding myself accountable and getting that divorce. Someone comments about the cheating and OP says, well, let me be frank. I can't take back fucking another man in my marital home. I can't take back being spineless, but I can take back my life, my freedom and dignity. OP also says I'm not as bad as a serial cheater. I will never believe that. That's comparing a thief to a murderer. That is the first time I've done this. Betrayal changes you. OP also says I won't lie, it felt good. The weirdest thing was him trying to initiate intimacy in the morning. He seemed triggered when I declined. I never knew cheating back would clear my mind. It's not the best way to handle things. He woke up in the morning trying to initiate intimacy, and I was disgusted. Then he had the nerve to look hurt. Years of feeling worthless and undesirable. I have no regrets. I won't be forced to feel like a villain, and I don't consider myself a cheater. He was not a faithful and loyal partner. Someone says it's just as bad, and OP says, how is it worse when he's a serial cheater? I cheated one time. He's been doing this for ages. I'm not worse than him. The things he has done I can't share because I have some shame. Hiding cheating doesn't mean you have more morals. A win is what I can say it is. I feel better. It's been years being humiliated and promised that change will come. I am the change. No. I cannot be as bad as someone who has cheated multiple times. What makes me disgusting? Is it because I'm a woman who cheated back in my marital home? I can never take back the fucking. Yes, it is justifiable. He gets to hurt me to my core, and I just take it over and over and over again. No, you're entitled to your opinion, but no one will convince me this is the same thing. Then says, it was worth it. Thanks. OP also says one decision doesn't define me. All this heat for me and not the serial cheater. Call it whatever you want if it makes you feel better, but being betrayed makes you do things you wouldn't think of. Hope you never get cheated on. Then about Cherry. OP says when we had a little tussle, she mentioned that he paid her rent. I called her a professional mistress because this isn't the first taken man she's messed with. She's known for doing that. He paid it only once to my knowledge. I stopped the joint account once I found out about other women. And someone says, what about the children? OP says I always try my best to be happy around them. They never suspect anything is wrong. My kids are very young and in their own little bubble. They are vibrant, happy kids. This would never affect them. My kids are loved, the happiest kiddos you'll ever meet. They're so kind and sweet. They are very young and do not know what's going on. And it says my children won't cheat in the future because I'm getting a divorce. Stop bringing up my kids into this. They're happy and have an amazing life. My kids are extremely young and we will be getting divorced. Stop projecting your broken home, mummy and daddy issues onto me and my children. We won't be like you. My bloody word, that is just so messy. And I just can't help after all this. I know OP says don't talk about the kids or whatever. I can't help but feel just incredibly sad for them. Because it sounds like she genuinely thinks that she's protected them because they're vibrant and happy. And let's face it, kids are resilient, but they're not blind. And you've got two adults and their choices who's actively hurting their own children. And that's the way it just feels to me. And I don't know if that sounds really harsh or not, but I just... it's just sad, man. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Let's move on to another story. Now, our next story is one that's been covered in the past. It has got new updates to it as well. So if you do want to skip certain parts of the story, please feel free to do so. Timestamps are always down in the description along the timeline below. It's from Throwaway No Trad, who says, am I the arsehole here for saying, if my wife wants to be a trad wife, then she must always look her best, wait on me, and provide sex without question when asked. I'm 35 and my wife is 40. We've been together 15 years. The last couple of years, she's really fell down the trad wife black hole and it's driving me crazy. At first, it started off with her saying she doesn't want to work anymore. And lately it has escalated to saying men who make their wives work are abusive. We both have well-paid jobs. I'm a self-employed builder with a team and earn around 100k a year. She works in management for the NHS and earns around 50k a year. We both work. I guess I should say worked for her. Really hard and have no kids, and 3 years ago managed to pay our mortgage off and lived in a nice enough area where I would have happily stayed forever. She, however, suddenly wanted a massive house that we didn't need. I should have saw what was coming. She was looking at 700k houses which will require a mortgage of 500k after we sold our house. I gave in and we bought a house. She then wanted a new car, which again I caved to, and she got a car that is worth more than she earns a year. She then decided she didn't want to work anymore. She said her job was crap and I said take a lower paid one then, that you'll enjoy more. She said no, she just doesn't want to work full stop. She also doesn't want to give up anything she has. Over the past couple of years, it's been obvious she is trying to lose her job without leaving, despite me saying that I can't afford the house and car and holidays on my own. She started bringing this trad wife crap up, but said she'd want to hire a cleaner as the house is too big for her to clean alone, and she prefers my cooking to hers. So I'll still do all the cooking. So I said you basically want to dress up pretty and bake the odd cake. She stormed off and said I don't get it. She again brought it up yesterday, and I said fine, she can do it, but she's got to get up before me and make sure my breakfast is ready like in the video she watches. She's got to get dressed as a sexy version of a 50s housewife like in the video she watches from the moment I open my eyes to the moment I close them. The house must be spotless at all times like in the video she watches. I want huge packed lunches for work like in the video she watches. I want to come home and have beautiful pies and cakes ready for pudding like in the video she watches. I want a bath ran for me when I get in and then come down to a proper meal every night like in the video she watches. I then want a foot rub while I eat the cakes and pies she makes like in the video she watches. I also want sex on demand, how I want it, when I want it, like in the video she watches. She called me an abuser, a user, sexist, etc. and stormed out to her equally delusional sister's house. Don't get me started on her. I'll be honest, I'm ready for a divorce if this carries on. Am I the arsehole here? Commenter says, at least you don't have kids, so divorce is easier. Probably best to do it while you're still both earning well, so there's no question of alimony. Commenter also adds, forgot to add, obviously not the arsehole. In a traditional household, women don't make no contribution. Their contribution is through domestic labor, while men provide financial value by going out and working. The contribution would already be far below average given that the bulk of the traditional wife's time is spent on children. She wants to make no contribution and is disguising it as trad wife. Commenter says, get a divorce, mate. It'll be cheaper and less stressful than dealing with a crazy wife every minute of the day and night. It's not about the trad wife lifestyle. She simply doesn't want to work. She merely wants to sit on her backside, enjoy the things she has badgered you into paying for, and do nothing. There's a lot of this kind of crazy going around. It won't get any better either. What will it be next? Vacations on the French Riviera? A bigger, nicer, more expensive car? The list goes on and on. Opie says, I'm leaning this way, mate. I think a divorce is more likely than anything else at this moment in time. Luckily, she's afraid of flying, so I've managed to avoid expensive holidays apart from the odd Eurostar trip to Paris. She makes me feel like a £10 millionaire though, trying to be something we aren't. I know we're better off than most, but we don't earn footballers' money, which is what I think she aspires to. Opie comes in with her first update and says, I'd like to answer a few questions from my first post before an update. No, my requests were not serious, and I can't believe how many people thought they were. It was me trying to prove a point of how ridiculous she's being. Like I said in the comments, I don't want a maid or a slave, I want a partner. Before my wife got on this train, she was a very ambitious, career-driven person who wanted to climb to the top. She was never really on social media until the pandemic. The trad wife thing started a couple of years ago. A lot of people suggested couples counseling. I've asked many times and always get the same response. I don't need counseling, there's nothing wrong with me. On to the update. We spoke Saturday morning and I told her that I can't go on like this. I said to her bluntly, the trad wife thing is never happening and she either accepts it and we go to couples counseling or we split up. I'm done dancing around her bullshit. She chose to split up. I asked her if she even really wanted to be a trad wife or if she's just trying to force me away. Like she's trying to force her job to sack her because she doesn't have the balls to quit herself. She said yes, she does, and there's plenty of dating sites that cater to this dynamic. I told her I'd seen them, and there are more sugar daddy dynamics, and without being horrible, she's too old for that. This set her off. She said I'm wrong, and that I'm the one who can't support my wife, so I'm the bad one in the marriage, and a real man would be able to give her the life she wants. She was shouting and screaming this at the top of her lungs. It's about the only time I've been glad to be in our new house so the neighbors didn't hear. I got a bit petty at the real man comment and said, you can't cook, you can't clean, and you don't have sex. What part of being a trad wife do you offer? I then stole a comment from my last post and said that she doesn't want to be a trad wife, she wants to be a trophy wife. She just said I'm unbelievable and has gone to her sisters again. I'm going to take the next couple of weeks and start talking to a divorce lawyer to see what this entails. Then once this ball has got rolling, I'm fucking off to Portugal for a couple of weeks to myself. Zealous Ideal says she's 40 and in the UK where there isn't a conservative trad wife / trophy wife culture. She's going to be divorced and on benefits in a shitty bedsit. Take care of yourself, OP, because she's intent on blowing up her life for some reason. Art Master Champ says, great name, not the arsehole, and congrats on having the balls to divorce her ass. My husband and I are both super career driven and are equal partners in everything. The joy of being an equal partnership like that is not something I can put into words. I'm so glad you didn't settle. Also, as a woman, I believe that any woman who buys into this nonsense needs to learn the hard way. She's in for a rude shock in a few months when she realizes what she's done. She will come crawling back. Do not take her back. Opie comes in with another update and says, I'm 35, my ex-wife is 40 and we have no kids. About 2.5 months ago, I posted about my wife leaving me because I refused to live the trad wife lifestyle. In my original post, I mentioned the big house and car she got me into debt over for over £500,000, and then decided she didn't want to work anymore. Starting with the car. After she left, I took half our savings and half the money in our joint account and put it in my own bank account. I told her to take the rest, around 60k, and she can either pay off the car with the money or keep the money, and I'll take the car back as it's in my name. She said neither, she's keeping both. This has been a struggle that ended with me having to ring the police to assist me in taking the car back. I got there and the police were already there. My ex was crying. The 2 police officers looked at me like I was a piece of shit. My sister-in-law was shouting, yeah, take her independence and go back to your mansion while she sleeps in the spare room. The neighbours were all out looking. I very nearly caved and told her to just keep it, but it's £1,500 per month that I can't warrant. I took it, sold it, and had to pay £12,000 difference in what I owed on it. I'll be honest, I was expecting worse. Now the house. We paid £700,000 for it with 200 down. I spent about 100 on it doing it up. When I got valued, I was pleasantly surprised at 1 million, and even more surprised that within 2 weeks of it going on the market, it sold to one of my neighbours. A lovely Indian family who asked me to work on their house, but they said it's just easier to move into mine. They do, however, want me to build a granny annex on the side once they've completed the purchase. That'll be another couple of months yet, but we'll both walk away with around 250k each, and I'll be looking to buy a house for around 200k. So I'll be back to mortgage free and debt free in a couple of months. On to my wife. She's still living at her sister's, and as far as I'm aware, hasn't found anyone who wants a 40-year-old trad wife who doesn't cook, clean, or have sex. She has asked me back twice, but I've said no. Once was a drunken proposition, the other one more heartfelt. It's too late now though. We've already started the divorce proceedings, and that should be done early next year. All I've been doing is working and plodding along. Nothing else I really can do. I thought I'd update because I get 10 to 20 messages a week asking how I'm doing, and I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Commenter says, the best update to read under the circumstances. She really deluded herself into blowing up her life. OK Stable says, she has no one to blame but herself, and maybe TikTok. Good for you. Better luck next wife. Thank goodness there was no kids in this situation, because that could have got real messy really fast. It's like the commenter at the end said there, this is probably the best case in a really shitty situation. And I wasn't surprised that she was coming back to OP wanting to try and reconnect after that, after realizing what she's actually lost. Social media and stuff has a part to play in all this thing as well. You know, once you get on those algorithms, I've seen it firsthand how it can turn people's brains to absolute mush. I had to take a step back myself from social media for a couple of months because the algorithms that I was getting was just absolutely wild. Yes, you can block and ask it not to suggest you certain things, but they always sneak through. And once you see one, then you get plastered with more. It's just, it can be brutal. I can see how people do get sucked into them, especially when you got AI involved now and bot accounts ran by AI. It's just a constant barrage of the same shit. But I guess in the end, we have to step up and try to control that for ourselves at the same time. But what do you guys make of this situation? How would you deal with it if it was you? Do you think Opie handled it the right way? Maybe you got a different opinion on the matter. Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Now, just a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart for getting involved in today's stories. Your love, your support, your time, it always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Take care and much love.